What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. Just wanted to wrap up our final video from our trip here out west. This one is Gro Ventre Campground and the Grand Tetons. Man, what an amazing place. So to start with, when we left Buffalo Bill State Park, headed to the Grand Tetons, we decided that we were going to stay at Gro Vaant.
And Gro Vaant is also in Grand Teton National Park.
Right,
and it is the biggest.
The biggest campground in the national park?
Yes.
That's
320 sightings.
Yep, very good. So, from doing our research, with all the sites they have, we read that as long as you're there fairly early in the day, you shouldn't have a problem getting a site. They do have a loop that has electric, which obviously would have been our preferred way to stay there. But those obviously fill up right away.
Yep.
They have a loop that is strictly dry camping, no generators, and then they have a loop that does allow generators. So we were going to try to get a generator loop, a generator site, if we couldn't get an electric site. So once we left Buffalo Bill State Park, the route took us through Yellowstone and then out the south entrance into Grand Teton National Park. Beautiful drive. So the drive to Yellowstone National Park really isn't bad at all, pulling the trailer. We obviously had to go up across Sylvan Pass again, but you know, we left super early. We didn't want to get hung up in a bunch of traffic, so leaving early was a big key to getting through Yellowstone without a lot of traffic and hassle. Beautiful drive, just can't be in a hurry. So as long as you factor in, you know, and understand where you're driving through, and you're not in a rush, you're not going to have any problems. So when we arrived at Gro Ventre Campground, it was around, what time did we get there, about 10:30?
It was around 11.
Close to it, yeah, it was like between 10:30 and 11 o'clock.
Yeah, so around 10:45.
And there was probably 4 cars in front of us, which was fine. They have some different rules as far as their first come, first served sites go with due to COVID. You pull in and they get your information, find out how big your rig is, what loop you're trying to get into, and then they kind of assign you a site. If you don't like that site, you can go back and they'll get you something different. But instead of where in the past it looks like it appeared that you could go in and pick your site and then let them know where you're at, they changed that around a little bit. So not a big deal. They had a site for us. The site was 35 feet long. I asked him if we had room to hang over the back of it. He said, yeah, that's no problem. So when we got to the site, not quite as no problem as he made it seem. Every site has a bear box. So it's a big storage box that you can put things in that you would normally leave out so that the bears don't get into it.
But you're in bear country.
Yeah, big time bear country. So most sites have the bear box off to the side. This site had the bear box directly behind it. couldn't hang over off the back of the site as much as I think he thought I could. So as it turned out, we got on there just enough of an angle to where it wasn't a problem. We definitely took up all of our 35-foot sight, but as far as getting in there, we got in there. The bear box was real close to the back of the fifth wheel, but no problems at all. So that was our sight. We didn't see any moose wander through the campground like we read about.
No.
But
it was super busy.
It was very, very busy. And later that evening, me and Dylan went back up to the office to get some ice, and there was a gentleman there that was inquiring about a site, and the lady there told him that every campground within 60 miles was full. So I don't know how accurate her information was, but judging by the amount of people that were at Gro Vaant Campground, I would believe it, because that place was packed out.
There were probably 1,000 people there, no exaggeration.
Yeah, there was a lot. 320 sites, and I think every single one of them were full.
Yep, because it said Campground 4 on the side.
Yep. We decided, once we got there and got set up, to take a drive on Moose Wilson Road. Very popular road for viewing wildlife. So it was a little early in the afternoon for it, but we figured we'd give it a shot.
You definitely won't see them.
So we got all checked in to Gro Vaant Campground, hoping to see some moose while we were here. Decided to take a drive, and we got to pay off. Got a beautiful moose up here on the side of the hill. Weren't really looking for them up there on the side of the hill. We were kind of keeping our eye out for bears up there on the side of the hill, and saw this big girl up there getting her grub on.
There's a moose.
Got a moose.
Yep.
Right? Got to see our first moose.
Yep, that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, pretty awesome. That thing was up there on the side just grazing away, eating some grass. And so pretty awesome way to start our first day in Grand Teton National Park, seeing that moose up there on the hill. So that night we did some research, and we decided that the next morning we were going to get up early and go to do the Schwabacher Landing hike.
That's pretty cool. It is nice. It's
How is it so far, Dylan?
a lot better than I imagined in my head, but so far.
How cold is it?
Like 36 to 37 degrees right now.
So we came down here this morning to do the Schwabacher Landing hike, not far from Gro Vaant where we're staying. Beautiful hike so far. A little cold this morning, about 36 degrees like Dylan said, but beautiful, beautiful views. Got the river running down through here. Got the beautiful mountains in the background. Just an awesome, awesome hike this morning. See if we see any wildlife while we're out here, but either way, beautiful hike. Highly recommend it. So if you have a morning where you have perfect conditions, a nice clear sky, no wind, no breeze at all, you can get some beautiful reflection shots of the Tetons reflecting in the beaver ponds. And we were fortunate enough to be there just after sunrise. It was cold. It was 36 degrees when we started this hike, which was crazy, but the conditions were perfect.
In July. 36 in July.
We could not have been happier with some of the pictures that we got from this hike. Amazing hike, and if you go to Grand Tetons, you have to take this hike.
Yes.
The
You have
views,
to at least get the picture though.
the views are phenomenal, absolutely amazing.
Some of the reviews that we had read said that people had seen moose while they were hiking. We didn't see any, but just like in the campground we didn't see any, but we're thinking with the amount of people that were there and the time of year, so the moose might be more popular in the fall.
Yeah, and definitely take your bear spray with you. We had ours with us. I could definitely see there's some areas where you don't have real good visibility on that hike when you're kind of coming around a corner or kind of over a ridge. There's a very, very good chance you could kind of stumble across a bear out there. So we didn't have any issues. We didn't see any, but it's definitely an area where you could for sure. So just be prepared if you head out on that hike. But the pictures that we got from there are amazing. They're absolutely amazing. Some of the best pictures we've ever gotten
On a hike.
anywhere. We got on that hike. So the next day, we decided we were going to take a drive and check out some overlooks real early in the morning, try to see some wildlife. It's a little different than Yellowstone. So Yellowstone, there's a lot of places. I mean, you can see wildlife anywhere.
Yeah.
Grand Tetons, a little bit different setup. Most of the wildlife viewing is done from the overlooks. They're kind of pull off on the road and look out over the field or out in a specific area and look for some wildlife.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see anything. Maybe I see it. Oh, that's the
You're fine.
We pulled off on a bunch of different overlooks, and we scanned the area with binoculars. Didn't see a whole lot. There's some people that were spotting scopes and binoculars looking. Not a whole lot of wildlife when we were there. We did get to one, and we were fortunate and saw quite a few elk out grazing in a field. So that was pretty cool. That particular overlook actually had a lot of signs up. The hiking in that area was restricted for a couple of days because of the high amount of bear activity. So
it was actually one bear, right? Bear 399.
yeah, that after we did some research, it turns out that a very popular bear 399 and her cubs kind of frequent that area. So don't know if that's why they had that area blocked off, but
Probably one of the reasons.
there are definitely signs there, not allowing any hiking on any trails down at that spot. From there, we kind of circled around and came through the north side of the park and worked our way back south. It was busy by the time we got around there. It was packed. The parking at Jenny Lake was all the way. The parking lot was full out into the road.
Yep, on the side of the road. There's probably tags, and there's a ton of tags. Florida, New York, California, Washington, Texas, everywhere.
All the trailheads were packed out. I mean, parking was kind of a nightmare. So that took away from it a little bit, because there's some things that we would have liked to go see, like going down to Jenny Lake and up in that area, but just not going to fight that many people. I mean, we would have been parking close to a mile away from the actual parking lot just to walk down to the area where Jenny Lake is and hike down that area. And with the situation being what it is, I mean, we were just not that excited to be around that many people all at one time. So we passed on that. We 100% plan on coming back to the area in the fall time. Fall time, probably fall of not fall of this year, 2020, but possibly fall of next year, and check out Yellowstone and Grand Teton in the fall. I really think it would be an entirely different experience. as far as the crowds being less, and the wildlife being a lot more active.
Yep, the elk will be going.
Yep.
And bear gonna be going crazy for hibernation. Bison will be doing, well, the bison do all the time.
So on our final day, we decided to get up early and take a drive down to Mormon Row, which is very, very close to Gro Vaant Campground. It's just down the street. So took a ride down there and saw some of the cabins that they have out there. Beautiful backdrop against the mountains. Just a very, very beautiful place. This trip was definitely a lot more about the views and the scenery than it was the wildlife. Yellowstone was really more about the wildlife. Grand Tetons was more about the views, and I tell you, for not seeing a whole lot of wildlife, the views definitely made up for it. I mean, it's one of the most beautiful places we've ever seen. I mean, everywhere you look is just you know, an amazing view everywhere.
Yeah, we're missing those snow-capped mountains already.
Yeah, I mean, the weather there was, I think the hottest it got there was like 82 degrees, and that was just one day. Most days it was in the mid 70s, upper 70s, with a breeze. So, you know, no humidity. You could open the windows, nice cool breeze blowing through.
Yep.
We stayed on the loop that allowed you to run the generator. We didn't run the generator all day until the evening time, and that was really more just to, you know, fire up the convection oven if you want to make something for dinner on the convection oven or the pellet grill. And just to cool the fifth wheel down just a little bit before Dylan was getting ready to go to bed, but didn't have to run the generator much at all, especially for any kind of AC. It was nice. So after we left Mormon Row, we made a loop, kind of went and made a loop around, headed back toward the campground, and as we come down the road, Erica spotted a deer off in the woods, so we stopped real quick and backed up. There was no traffic out there, and as we backed up, we got a beautiful, beautiful look at two mule deer. So out here this morning, coming here on our last full day. Haven't had a whole lot of luck seeing wildlife, but we come down, turned off Antelope Flats Road, and got some beautiful, beautiful deer right up here off to the side. Our luck seeing the wildlife on this trip out to Grand Teton has not been so great, so this is a big, big bonus for us right here on our last day. Okay, stop.
Got the attention.
There we go. And man, they were awesome. Beautiful mule deer. A real highlight, kind of an unexpected highlight on a trip where we didn't see a lot of wildlife. So to catch those guys right there at the end on the last day, early in the morning, fortunate to where there was no traffic behind us at all. There was nobody on the road, so we could get out.
Yeah, we were the first people there.
Beautiful pictures, beautiful video of them. So that was pretty awesome. A nice surprise there at the end. So that's pretty much how we spent our time at Grand Teton National Park and Gro Vaant Campground. There's definitely some things that we would have liked to do, but just like I said, we weren't willing to fight the crowds. We know we're going to be back, so it definitely leaves us some things that on our list that we can check off, next time we come back.
Yep.
But very, very glad we came out. Very glad we couldn't go to Yellowstone without checking out Grand Teton National Park.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's so nice to have touch.
so it was a very, very cool experience. Weather was beautiful. Really can't complain at all. The only complaint we had was the crowds.
Yeah.
But we kind of knew that was going to be the case coming into the summertime, kind of the peak tourist season. I think that does it.
Yep. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest. And should be on it. Bye, guys.
All right, we'll get you guys down the road.